The iconic Nissan Silvia will be coming back. Nissan has officially confirmed that it is developing an all-new, cheap, fun sports car that will carry on the Silvia nameplate. So today, I'll be going over everything we know so far about this new model. The original Silvia began production all the way back in 1975, and it was an instant hit as an affordable and fuel-efficient sports car. Production ended in the early 2000s, but rumors have been circulating for years now that Nissan was planning on bringing a similar model back to market. Until recently, the rumors were just that, but a Nissan executive has now confirmed that a new Silvia is in the early stages of development. So this is what the new Silvia might look like. While this rendering may look a good bit different from the rest of Nissan's lineup, it is heavily based on the IDX Nismo concept, and Nissan does have a history of making production cars that are very similar to concepts like they did with the original Titan and Juke. Overall, the design is upright and angular to the point where it's almost boxy. It reminds me a little bit of the M2, and it would likely be around the same size as an M2. One aspect that really stands out is the bright red bumper with the Silvia script on it. This bumper is accompanied by a black front splitter with side air curtains. Angry LED running lights trace the headlights and set the tone for the front fascia. There are a ton of aerodynamic details like the little scoop on the hood and the way the side air curtains continue past the front wheels and lead into aggressive side skirts. The upper portion of the side profile is mostly flat and there are flush door handles. The back quarter window has sort of an arrow shape to it, and the Nismo badge there is a nice little touch. The back end is very upright as well, and it mirrors some of the features from the front end, like that red bumper and sharply angled taillights. I think the rear diffuser looks nice as well, and the third brake light is nestled in the middle of it to help clean up the design. I really like the general design language that is used here, and I think it looks a little more unique and maybe even more high-end or special than something like the BRZ or GR86, which would be sort of the main competition for a model like this. To get an idea of what the interior will be like, we'll take a look at the IDX Nismo's interior and the interior of the new Nissan Z. The Silvia should be cheaper than the Z and fall in below it in Nissan's lineup. This means you can expect a functional interior with a clean but basic design. As a cheaper car, you can definitely expect some cost-cutting measures to be in effect here, especially with some of the materials used. A single, decent-sized center infotainment screen could make use of Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as a focus for its day-to-day use. The gauge cluster should be at least partially digital, being that the car will be brand new and possibly fully digital. While it will be cheaper than the Z, the Silvia may have some added practicality with rear seats that are missing on this newest current generation of the Z. So that's the design, but what about performance? Well, we don't have too much information that is confirmed about the powertrain, other than that Nissan has hinted at the model being electrified. This doesn't mean it will be fully electric, however. Given this price range, it will likely be a plug-in hybrid. The new Silvia could very well push past the 250 horsepower mark, which would be more than competition like the GR86 or Miata. Nissan's KR engine is a 2.0 liter 4-cylinder that is capable of 268 horsepower and 288 pound-feet of torque. This engine, coupled with an electric motor, could be a very potent setup. One downside here is that I suspect a manual transmission won't be offered. I know many enthusiasts don't like to hear that, but I just don't think Nissan will put the time and money into developing a manual version of the car, especially given that Nissan has said it wants to develop the model largely or entirely in-house. Also, while I have been referring to this model as the Silvia, it was previously sold as the 240SX in the North American market. That means it might also just be called the SX or some variation on that with the new powertrain, so maybe SXE. Whatever it ends up being called, we probably won't find out for some time. Seeing as this model is only now in the early stages of development, the production model won't be revealed for at least another 2 to 3 years, and it will likely be at least 4 years until you would see these out on the road. The good news is that once it eventually does go on sale, it will be more affordable than the Z, with a starting price of right around $30,000. So with all that information in mind, can the new Silvia succeed as an affordable and efficient sports car as it once did? This is a tough question to answer because the sports car market is continuing to shrink, which is something Nissan acknowledged when discussing this new Silvia. On the other hand, it seems that Japanese automakers have had a resurgence of interest in making new sports cars. In addition to Nissan's Silvia, Honda plans on bringing back the Prelude, and Toyota has been rumored to be working on both a new Celica and a new MR2. This does make it seem as if there is an emerging opportunity to sell cheap sports cars, but this also means that there will be an increase in competition in the future, and that makes me even more worried about the prospect of a new Silvia that is able to move a lot of units and justify its own development. All in all, I think the Silvia will either be a short-lived model or it will take the Z's place as the singular sports car in Nissan's lineup. For now, that's all we know about the upcoming return of the Nissan Silvia. On this channel, I talk about car news like this, as well as history and culture, so make sure to subscribe so you won't miss any future uploads. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.